Okay, let's turn to page 50. Page 50. So we are undertaking the ceremony of taking the aspiration bodhisattva vow. And as I described yesterday, taking this vow does not require any precondition. In a way, it's not even necessary to be Buddhist, not necessary. And then not necessarily that there's so much, there must be some commitments, no commitments at all. At the most, if you can commit yourself, that from today onwards, I'll be as kind to others, to the best I can, and at least I'll not harm others. This much if you can make a commitment is good enough. Okay, with that in mind, reinforce the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. They are so happy today over what we are doing today here, and reinforce the visualization for all your team of sentient beings, your two parents, your children, your family members, everyone, all sentient beings on this earth. They are all joining you in this taking the aspiration bodhisattva vow, which is a very simple act of kindness, simple act of virtue, which triggers incredible merit for yourself. And meanwhile, because it may take a little while, so if you start feeling the pain, then take the position which is most comfortable to you. Okay, so the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they're so happy. In fact, to be very honest, since beginner's time till today, we have only brought the sadness to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. While the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they really aspire, they wish that we do virtues, we do all virtues, so that we experience only happiness, but on the contrary, we like small children, we only engage in negativities thus far, thus suffering terribly, and the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they feel themselves so helpless to see that they can't do anything for us. But today we are doing something very special. The way the child, the eldest daughter, maybe age 5, and the eldest son, age 4, for the first time in their life, they are making public appearance, public performance. And for the parents, this is so important event. They just left aside all the works for that day to make sure that they take part. They take part in your program by being in the audience, waving the hands to you, telling you that we are there, we are there. Have no tension, we are there, we are so proud of you. This is exactly what is happening here. All the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they are feeling so proud of you, just as we invited them to be the guest, to be the witness, to be the guest to what we are doing here, to the ceremony. The Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they also take this as so important event. They give full attention to what is happening today to you. The way the parents, they left everything behind to come to witness what you're doing, your public appearance, the first public appearance. You feel so confident that my parents are there to give me more support and to feel the pride, take pride in what we're doing. This is exactly what the Buddhist Bodhisattva is doing. They are so happy, they witness what we're doing today. And all the German students, they are joining you in this taking the aspiration bodhisattva vow. With that in mind, let's recite the first stanza together, page 50. So I'll quickly explain this. This is a very important stanza. You can take, in future, you can take the aspiration bodhisattva vow on the basis of just this stanza. This is also fine. And you can do it on the basis of all three. It's also fine. You can do it based on the second and third. Second and third always go together. Okay, so the first line, because this is a journey that we are undertaking to become Buddha for the benefit of all German sentient beings. Buddha doesn't mean Buddhism. It's meant the full awakening, that your mental defilements are got rid of, and that you achieve the state of fearlessness, achieve the state of infinite happiness, and achieve the state of perfect power to benefit all beings. So this is, you're embarking on a very important journey, the most important journey, because of which we need a tremendous support. The greatest support that we can think of is the triple gem, the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So the first line says, go for refuge to the Triple Gem. Now that this journey, because this journey is a very important journey, this journey, the road must be clear, and the car that undertakes the journey must have enough fuel. So the road is none other than your own mind. Your mind must be cleared of the mental defilements. The best way by which to clear the mental defilements is by confessing the negativities. The second line says, I confess the negativities individually. Road is very clear now. Now the car, if the car does not have fuel, again you cannot undertake the journey. The car must have enough fuel. So the car is none other than our own mind. So this mind has enough fuel of the merit. And the best way by which to accumulate merit and virtues within a short span of time is by rejoicing in the virtues of all the beings. Third line says, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. Okay, now that the road is clear, the car has enough fuel, what kind of journey you are going to undertake? The fourth line says, I'm going to undertake the journey of the Buddhahood. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. Okay, I don't want all general sentient beings, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they are watching us, and all the general sentient beings, they join you in this, the preliminary practice. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. Okay, the next two stanzas, the main ceremony. By invoking the Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, then the two stanzas. First stanza is related to the Buddhas, and second stanza is related to yourself. The first stanza says that how come that this, for example, the Prince Siddhartha, he's able to become Buddha, and that he's able to continuously benefit infinite number of beings. All these, like 2,500 years, how many human beings have benefited, and how many the non-human beings are benefited. Infinite number of beings are benefited. How come that he was able to benefit? I like to also do like that, but I cannot do it. Whereas he's able to do that. How come he's able to do that? Yes, for two reasons. One, he generated a very strong determination of bodhicitta. He generated this very strong mind of bodhicitta as a motivation. And then to materialize the aspiration of this bodhicitta, he engaged in the Bodhisattva practices. Bodhisattva practices like 6 perfections and 10 perfections. Perfection, generosity, ethical discipline, patience, enthusiasm, meditative concentration, wisdom. 6 perfections, plus 4 perfections: skillfulness, aspiration prayers, power, and the discriminatory wisdom. By engaging in these 10 perfections, then he was able to become Buddha, and he is able to manifest his Buddha nature completely, and then he's able to benefit infinite number of beings. Okay, if this is how he succeeded, I'll follow his footsteps. I'll also generate a very strong bodhicitta, a motivation bodhicitta, and to materialize this aspiration, I will also engage in bodhisattva practices like the 10 perfections. Okay, this is what we're going to say 3 times, wholeheartedly. And during the third repetition, when I say the 2 last lines, and likewise shall I 2 successful follow bodhisattva practices, imagine that you have received the aspirant bodhisattva vow and feel that great joy. Okay. Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successively dwell in the bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I'll generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successively dwell in the bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the bodhisattva practices. Okay, feel the joy over having received the aspirant bodhisattva vow. We are so lucky, so lucky, so fortunate. And Bodhisattvas, they feel so happy about what you did today, they feel so proud of you. And this pride and happiness invoke the Vajra moon at the hearts of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, in the full-fledged form of the Vajra moon, full-fledged form of the conventional Bodhicitta, ultimate Bodhicitta, to multiply infinite number of times. In Biraj like rain shower, this is what the Rapidas Vajra moon from the Buddha's Bodhisattvas, they descend to merge with the one that you visualize at your heart, thereby becoming non-dual, stabilized and blessed. Likewise, the Biraj, the Rapidas Vajra moon, the infinite number of Vajra moon, the Rapidas Vajra moon of the Buddha's Bodhisattvas, in Biraj like rain shower, they just want to merge with the one that you visualize at the heart of your mother, at the heart of your father, at the heart of each one of your children, each one of the sentient beings, everyone here in India, in the world, in the Milky Way galaxy, and in the entire universe. Now every sentient being has his Vajra moon, blessed, amazing. This guarantees that now all individual sentient beings as well are going to have this experience, this Buddha nature, manifest, that they experience the total fearlessness, that they experience the infinite happiness. This is the greatest gift that you could possibly think of to offer to your dear sentient beings, and today you did it. This is of the infinite forms of offerings to be made to the Bodhisattvas. The Buddha at one point mentioned that generating a single moment of compassion for sentient beings that far excels the gift of filling the entire universe with the gems, precious gems, and offering them to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. If this is the case, what I mentioned of our having taken this action, Bodhisattva vow, this is the greatest of the gift that we can possibly think of that exists in this universe. And today we are gifting this to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And of all the meanings of life, this is greatest meaning. And today you extracted this meaning. You've given this meaning to yourself today. It is amazing. And all these wonders are happening because of the kindness of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. As a gesture of thanking them, along with all different sentient beings that will slowly get up, rise up to stand up, to make 3 prostrations to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, as a gesture of thanking them.